You smile, you say you're fine, and maybe you've even mastered the art of sounding convincing, but deep down there's a quiet ache, a silent exhaustion that no one sees. Because the truth is, you're tired of pretending. We live in a world that glorifies positivity. Stay strong. Look on the bright side. Think happy thoughts. These are the mantras we repeat, not because they heal us, but because they help us hide. You start to believe that sadness is weakness, that anger must be buried, that fear makes you less worthy. So you put on your mask, day after day, until one morning you don't recognize the face behind it anymore. But what if the path to healing doesn't lie in forcing the light, but in daring to enter the dark? Carl Jung once said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. And maybe that's what you're feeling now. Not broken, not hopeless, but disconnected from your own truth. Real peace doesn't come from pushing pain away. It comes when you stop running and start listening. So this isn't a video about thinking positive. This is about coming home to the parts of yourself you've silenced. Because you don't need to be stronger, you just need to be honest. And maybe that's where your real healing begins. The courage to face your darkness is the beginning of your truth. You've been told to stay positive, to rise above, to fake it until you make it. But what if all that noise, all that light, has only made it harder to hear your own voice? Carl Jung didn't teach you to escape darkness. He taught you to face it. To him, the most dangerous person wasn't the one who felt anger, grief, or fear. It was the one who refused to acknowledge them. You see, your shadow, the part of you you've tried to suppress, isn't evil. It's honest. It holds your pain, your shame, your unmet needs, but also your depth, your creativity, your truth. Jung believed that true transformation comes not by imagining yourself as better, but by making the unconscious conscious, by becoming aware of the hidden parts that run your life from behind the scenes. The more you ignore your shadow, the more power it gains. It doesn't disappear. It disguises itself in your relationships, your triggers, your quiet self-sabotage. But when you start to look inward, without fear, without judgment, you begin something sacred. You begin to remember who you are beneath the masks. And maybe that's what you've been seeking all along, not more positivity, but more honesty with yourself. How many times have you smiled while breaking inside? You tell yourself, it's not a big deal. You push through the day, hold it together, wear the same practiced smile. But underneath, something begins to erode. Quietly, invisibly. They told you that being strong means not falling apart, that being brave means not showing weakness. But have you ever wondered, who are you really trying to protect? The truth is, every time you say I'm fine when you're not, you abandon a piece of yourself. You tell your inner child, your inner pain, you don't matter right now. And that's where the disconnection begins, from others, from life, but most painfully, from yourself. You might still function, you might even succeed, but joy feels thinner, laughter feels rehearsed. There's a growing distance between who you are and who you pretend to be. Is that the cost you're willing to keep paying? Carl Jung warned us. The shadow we ignore becomes the fate we repeat. The pain you avoid doesn't vanish, it resurfaces. In your relationships, in your silence, in the way you slowly stop feeling alive. So ask yourself, what if the real danger isn't being sad, but being dishonest about it? Because pretending doesn't protect you, it only delays the healing that comes from truth. And the truth? You were never meant to carry this alone. What if healing isn't about fixing yourself, but finally listening to yourself? You've spent years trying to be okay, trying to feel better, look better, act better. But maybe you've missed the one thing that changes everything: honesty. Not the kind you show others, but the kind that happens when no one's watching. When you admit, even in a whisper, "I'm hurting." That moment, that trembling, terrifying moment, is where real healing begins. Because emotional honesty doesn't make you weak, it makes you whole. Carl Jung believed that the parts of yourself you repress, your sadness, your rage, your vulnerability, are not obstacles to growth. They are the path. You don't heal by deleting your darkness, you heal by integrating it. So sit with the anger you've buried, hold space for the grief you've ignored, speak the words you've been too afraid to say. Yes, it's messy, yes, it's uncomfortable, but isn't it more painful to keep living a version of you that isn't real? What would it feel like to finally stop performing, to look in the mirror and say, "This is me, all of me, and I'm still worthy"? Because you are. Not when you're perfect, not when you're healed, but when you're honest. And maybe that's the bravest thing you'll ever do. You've spent years trying to hold it all together, smiling when it hurt, nodding when you wanted to scream, telling yourself, just one more day. But what if today is the day you stop running? Not because everything is fixed, not because the pain has disappeared, but because you're finally choosing something deeper than comfort. You're choosing truth. Carl Jung didn't ask you to be more positive. He asked you to be more whole. And wholeness isn't light without darkness. It's light because of darkness. So maybe the real healing isn't becoming someone new. It's finally loving the parts you tried to hide. The ache, the confusion, the silence. They've all been waiting for your honesty. And if you've made it this far, if something inside you is still quietly listening, then maybe you're ready. Not for a miracle, but for a conversation with the part of you that's been aching to be seen. So let's begin with this. Leave a single dot in the comments, just one. Not to prove anything, but to say, "I'm done pretending, I'm still here." And if you feel brave, share one truth you've been holding in. You never know who it might save. This isn't the end, this is the soft beginning of something real. And it starts with you.